Welcome to CyberCEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. CyberCEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. All right, another awesome day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of CyberCEO. And of course, we have a very special guest on the show right now. Brigit, how are you doing today?
Great, thank you.
Perfect. We're very excited to get this interview with you. So let's get the ball rolling. So, Brigit, just to let you know, we have a lot of listeners who are also business owners just like you. So help us out here. Can you introduce yourself to our audience? Maybe let's start off with, what is your role in the business?
Sure. So I am currently our general manager of two market centers in the Maryland and Delaware beaches. So largely kind of on the lower eastern shore of Maryland and Delaware is where I'm located. So we have two market centers and have about 500 agents between the two of them.
Wow. So how long have you been in the business, by the way, Brigit?
I've been in the business for probably going on 26 years, been in the business, and have now been with Keller Williams going on 6 years.
Wow, 26 years in real estate and 6 years in Keller Williams. So I want to know as well, I know for a fact that you have a cyberbacker supporting you in the business, correct?
Yes, we do. We have actually two cyberbackers from Cyberbacker, and then we have a few other virtual assistants. But our first experience with Cyberbacker was with our first virtual assistant, Denise.
Oh, Denise. How long have you been working with cyberbackers in general?
So Cyberbacker, we've now been with Cyberbacker for a little, maybe not even quite a year. Probably it was last spring that we engaged first with Denise, and then we brought on our second one, Aileen.
Oh, so how did you know about Cyberbacker, by the way?
Through the ever so talented Rich Rector, definitely shared with not only me, but also our operating principal, Matt Fedek. We are all coached by Rich Rector. So starting with Matt, myself, and our growth directors. Rich is our coach, and Rich had really shared with Matt that he felt that that would be something beneficial, not only for me in my role, but for us as a market center, would be helpful to explore the idea of having a virtual assistant through Cyberbacker.
So far then, I want to know, how's the experience going working with your cyberbackers?
The experience thus far has been wonderful. I mean, you wouldn't know that Denise is not in the next room, right? She is as present as she can possibly be, and sometimes even more present than someone that is actually physically in the next room or down the hall. She is pleasant. She is always wanting to check in and make sure that what our needs are, that they're being met, and always wanting to learn. That's why I selected her when we went through the interview process, was because I, in particular, really appreciated her desire to take initiative to learn more things, even like just learning some skill sets of some programs and applications that she wasn't necessarily using at that present moment, but yet she didn't know that in time maybe she might use it. And so I just really appreciated her initiative, and that was a big reason why I wanted to align with Denise in particular.
I can really feel that the partnership between you and your current cyberbacker is really grown from the first time that you've had her. Is that right, with Denise?
Most definitely. I really didn't. I was a bit lost, quite frankly, initially as to how to. I'd never had. First of all, in 20 some years of being in business, I'd never actually had an assistant, number one, let alone someone that wasn't sitting right next to me or down the hall. So as from a communication standpoint, just making sure that we were communicating regularly and upfront, setting the expectations. And for me, the hardest thing that I probably had to overcome was letting things go. Letting things go and allowing her to take things off of my plate and put her own, sort of feel and look and design and to it, and then present it to me. And now she's kind of gotten to a point where we don't do a whole lot of back and forth, right? She now has a really good idea about what I'm looking for and how I might want to articulate something and communicate something. And whereas, 9 months ago, we went a lot of back and forth to where we got it right. And now she's far more, I think, perception now is such that she kind of knows how I want to actually communicate it to our agents, to that, to that population, to that audience. So it's definitely improved a lot.
Of course, I think that part of this partnership has really grown through time as well. Really, time is the solution, right? They're getting used to working with each other, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And like I said, it was that for me, the first hurdle that I had to overcome was giving up things, letting things go, and delegating those responsibilities. And not at the time, I think I felt like I was creating more work by trying to create things and come up with things for her to do. Whereas now it's become more instinctive, right? It's now become more instinctive of the things that she is doing has become a bit more routine. And we've made some shifts. We've made some shifts and changes along the way. And she not only now supports just me, she supports all of our growth directors. And each one of us has kind of a different relationship with her in terms of what she does for us and how we work with her.
Wow, the partnership has really grown because not just when you started, you mentioned 9 months ago, you didn't really plan for this, that this would be something that she would be doing, but she's now currently doing, right? Now,
Right.
Brigit, I'd like to know more about the tasks that she's currently doing for you in the business right now.
Sure. So starting with kind of on a daily basis, she is posting our calendars. So she is taking from our intranet, our intranet calendar, and then she's building out a monthly calendar, and posting those for us and distributing those to our agents. She joins in on our sales meetings on a weekly basis. So I do a sales meeting every single week in our market centers. And so she's on those calls, she's on those meetings. People now know who she is. I've brought her kind of into the forefront on those sales meetings so that they could actually see her and know that she's a real person, so that if she is ever reaching out to them on my behalf, they know who she is and they know what she does and how she is supporting our team. And so that was big. She will do. She has done Google Forms for us when I'm looking for anything to do with. I'm doing any kind of a survey, or I'm trying to organize and detail for our annual awards. She has taken all of our top-down reports and assembled. Put them into charts for me and Excel files, and then been able to share them to be able to gather addresses. Every time we bring on a new agent, she has access to all of my email, all of my logins, all of my passwords, all of my accounts, so that every time somebody new joins us, it's now instinctive. She immediately goes in, creates a welcome card to them, sends them brownies. Every month, when our immediately goes right into that application system, creates a congratulatory card and sends them a gift, congratulating them on capping. And it gets sent to their home address. So that's been great. She makes calls. Primarily, I've been having her calling for me, probably more so R1s, more so than R2s. Because of my history in our market, I know a lot of the producing and more seasoned agents in our market. And so what we found was they wanted to hear from me and didn't necessarily want to hear from somebody else. But the R1s, or, sort of the newer agents, they don't necessarily know me. So it was an easier call, right? It was an easier call for her to make and have that dialogue and conversation with them. And I think for our growth directors, she's been able to assist them in that same regard. So that's how we've been kind of utilizing her.
So a lot of admin tasks reaching out to potential, of course, R1s is what you also mentioned. Also a lot of back end stuff. Now, what I'm excited to know about is, of course, her growth is not going to stop. So what are some of the new things that you're planning to have her do in the future for the business? Let's say within 2022, this year.
So in 2022, what I probably am looking to have her do more of is really focusing more with our growth directors. I've now kind of gotten to a point where I have growth directors in throughout all of our offices so that I can now do other things and I can really pour back into our top 20% and our ALC members, allowing our growth directors to be making calls, setting appointments, having those appointments. And one of the things that I think Denise, and we're actually having a meeting this afternoon here in about 20 minutes, and I wanted Denise part of that meeting because now with Command and Command MC, I want to make sure, and with the sort of direction that we're heading from a reporting, from an input and then from a reporting standpoint, to be able to track, to be able to organize and track our activities and our appointments and our gross and our net. She's, very instrumental in that. And I really want to make sure that she is as knowledgeable in that technology and working alongside with us from the get-go, as opposed to bringing her in later and saying, okay, now we want you to do this. I want her part of the and we're at the beginning. I've got 5 new people, and I want to bring her in at the beginning here so that she can help, kind of create it and feel like she's got some ownership of the results that we will likely have, in 11 months time.
Of course, that's very exciting. For many more things for her to do means more opportunities for her to grow as well as a person and professionally. Now, one last question for you, Brigit. As I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of business owners who are listening to us right now. What piece of advice would you be able to give them when they're hiring their very own cyberbacker?
Be clear on what it is that you are wanting, meaning, needing from your assistant. I think, quite frankly, in hindsight, when we first engaged with Denise, I was thinking it was all going to be about making outbound calls and doing those recruitment efforts. And what we found was agents wanted to hear from me. So therefore, I had to think about, okay, well, if I'm going to make those calls, how can I then continue to do these other things that I need to do, but not be able to do all of them? And so I was able to just, kind of shift a little bit and give her some of the more administrative things to do to be able to help keep me a bit more organized, so that I can not only have that FaceTime with agents and make those calls, yet at the same time not feel like I'm not being productive either. Because I think that was what I found was I felt like at the end of each day, I didn't feel like I was productive as I could have been. And I think with Denise's help, she's helped me feel like I've been more productive. And I think our growth directors also feel attached to her, and we don't want to let her go.
It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna be letting her go, of course. And by the way, I forgot to tell you that both of your cyberbackers are listening to us right now. Would you want to give them a quick shout out or any message you'd like to give to them on the show?
Yeah, well, I mean, Denise is just, she's fantastic. I hope to maybe meet her one day, in person. And Aileen, I didn't really chat that much about Aileen. We do have another cyberbacker, and she has been phenomenal in our coaching program. Carol, our career development director, got to a point where she needed some leverage and she needed more administrative support. And we were having success with Denise with Cyberbacker. So we decided to go ahead and enlist a new Cyberbacker. And the two of them, obviously got hooked up and they connected. And Aileen has been a game changer in our coaching program for Carol and our other 2 coaches, because she's on every call with every new agent. She too has gotten to the point where it's not reactive anymore. She's proactive. And now I actually communicate directly with her now and ask her, questions. I don't even have to bother Carol anymore, because Aileen knows what's going on with every person in coaching. When was the last time they had an appointment? When was the last time they had a meeting? What do they have under contract? Like, she is so in tune with where everybody is in coaching, and it's been tremendously helpful to our coaches so that they can, of course, right, spend time with our agents in our coaching program, yet allowing her to do a lot of the administrative and send off the contract and post, right, new agents in coaching and celebrate their accomplishments with a new listing or a new sale that otherwise may have been forgotten because our coaches get busy, right? They're trying to help somebody navigate through a contract and forget about celebrating it. And so now Aileen is able to do that. And who doesn't like to see people, who doesn't like to see themselves being congratulated? And I know our agents feel really supported by her.
Now, we are very excited to see where this partnership between you and your cyberbackers will be in the next few months and, of course, the years to come. Brigit, thank you very much for being on the show today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of CyberCEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.